Hi, my name is Mac Lake, and I'm the visionary architect at the Launch Network. And I want to thank you for your support and encouragement of a church planting candidate. Our mission here at Launch Network is to partner with churches, that's you, to partner with churches to inspire and equip next generation planters to lead strong. We like to say around here that our customer is not the church planter, our customer is the church planting church. So we're excited about coming alongside you as you come alongside your potential church planter and working them through a thorough process to ensure that they get a good start in their church planting journey. You know, the need has never been greater in our country. Did you know that the U.S. Census Bureau now reports that our nation is going to grow by 31 million new people by the year 2020? The need is huge. We know that there are 3,500 churches a year that are closing their doors, they're shutting down, and only about 4,000 churches a year that are starting. With the population growing this rapidly, we need strong young men, leaders who are advancing the gospel in their community. But you know what? Behind each of those young men, there has to be a strong parent church, a church that's sending them out. Lifeway did a study back in 2010 and discovered that only 4% of U.S. churches are involved in church planting. Could you imagine if only 4% of U.S. couples were reproducing themselves? This nation would be gone in a generation. And that's the spiritual landscape we face today in our country. So that's why it's so important that you're doing what you're doing. You're coming alongside a potential church plant candidate and walking with them, providing them the support, the encouragement, and the mentoring they need in their journey. Now, what we want to do is we want to come alongside you, and we provide an 8-step process to help your church plant a church. Let me go over those with you. Step number 1 is identify a potential church plant candidate. Where do you find that candidate? Well, you know, you can find them in your church, you can find them in your community, or you might find them somewhere around the country. Just keep your eyes open and look for somebody that has a heart for starting a new church. It may take some time where you have to walk with them and develop them before they even go through our process to make sure they're ready. But when you get it to a point, and they're at a point where you feel like this person is genuinely called, and you want them to go through a healthy process, we want to come alongside you. So that's when you move to step number 2. Step number 2 is have them fill out our online application. Complete the online application doesn't commit them into anything. It's simply letting us know that they want to plant a church, where they want to plant, tells us a little bit about the stage they're in, and it helps us gather some information, some crucial basic information about this candidate. Step number 3 is when they take the online assessments. There's a series of assessments that we have the church plant candidate go through. It helps them, it helps us, and it helps you identify their level of readiness. There's a church plant profile assessment that lets us know their level of experience, their level of entrepreneurial leadership, their level of experience with in the past with church planting, and that assessment tells us a lot about what type of experience that they may continue to need. Secondly, they take leadership assessment and personality assessment so that we can understand their personality. And then the third assessment is a marriage assessment, where the couple themselves take an assessment separately, and it calculates the results together so we can identify the strengths and the growth opportunities in their particular marriage. After we gather all of these online assessments, we put those all together so that our assessment team can begin to look at those. Now, you'll have access to those as well, so you can begin to study your candidate and begin to get an idea of where they may need to grow. The fourth step is to send your candidate to an assessment retreat. Now, at the assessment retreat, this is when we really get to know this particular candidate. Now, we welcome you to join them. You don't have to, but the candidate and his wife have to come to this in-person assessment retreat. We offer several of these around the country, several times throughout the year. Here's what they're going to experience. We call it an assessment retreat on purpose. We want it to be a retreat experience. We want it to be a time where that planter and his wife get away from family, get away from everything, and just have an experience with God. They're going to go through a series of interviews. They're going to interview with a professional counselor, a marriage counselor, a business leader who's going to talk to them about their leadership skills and experience, a personal growth coach that helps them actually build a personal growth plan while they're there at the retreat. They'll engage and be interviewed by an experienced church planter and an experienced church planter's wife. We'll have them go through a series of exercises where we can get to know them better, get to know their calling better. But we try to create a safe environment, and we tell them up front, we're not here to partner with just your church planting. We're here to partner with your calling. And we want to get to know them so that at the end of the 2 days, what happens, our assessment team gathers up and we discuss the results, we discuss our observations, and then we write down a list of recommendations that can be added to their growth plan. At that point, we make a final recommendation. Are they ready for training? Are they ready with conditions? Are they not quite ready yet? Or sometimes we have to give a highly cautioned to some of the candidates. Currently, we pass about 57% of the candidates that go through our assessment process. So after the assessment team comes up with their final recommendation, here's what we do. We give you a call, you, the church planter, and his wife. We get you on a video conference call. One of our representatives will spend 45 minutes to an hour with you going through in detail the report that our assessment team put together. They'll explain the 8 different characteristics we look for in a candidate through the assessment. We'll point out to you what their strengths are, where their growth areas are, and then we'll share the final recommendation with you. Now, the reason we do this with you right along with the church planter is when we hang up the phone, we want you to be by their side. We want you to have the opportunity to debrief that recommendation and the growth recommendations after we hang up the phone. This is our way of partnering with you to help engage that church planting couple in their journey, not just in planting the church, but in growing themselves so they can be ready to go plant that church. Now, that leads us to step number 6. Step number 6, we enroll them in the training. For those that pass through the assessment, they enroll in the training. As they're enrolled in the training, they're enrolled in a small group with other church planters, no more than 5. We want to create a peer learning environment. There'll be assigned an equipping facilitator who is an experienced church planter that will facilitate the discussion each time they get together. They'll be given a student manual where they'll have things they have to read, things they have to do, people they have to interview, and things they have to write. They'll do all their preparation over about a 30-day period of time, and then when they come into the classroom, we facilitate discussion among those church planters so that we can customize their learning right to where they're at, answering the questions that they have, and helping them learn leadership right where they need it. Throughout the 6 months of training, the planter will learn 12 leadership competencies. Each month they learn 2 of these competencies in a collaborative learning environment. But also, as I said, we partner with you, so we will send you, as their parent church, a conversation guide. The conversation guides are a mirror of what we do with our 12 competencies. So each month, as they discuss 2 of the competencies in their training group, they'll also be discussing those same competencies with you one-on-one, utilizing our conversation guides. Now also, the wives are enrolled in training of their own. Throughout the 6 months, they will meet every month with a small group of wives. Typically that's done in a virtual group online. We enroll them in an online learning environment where they get to watch videos, interact with questions, answer those online, and interact with other church planting wives. And that we offer that just as a way to support and help equip those church plant wives as well. Now this leads us to step number 7, which is provide ongoing encouragement and support. Now once they complete the training, we don't want to leave you alone. So here's what we do. We provide you, as their parent church, we provide you a 12-month conversation guide. This is all part of the package, and so we send that to you so that every month you can have a meeting with your church planter to go through this conversation guide. It's all scripted for you. It reinforces those 12 competencies, and it's just another way to help you continue to walk with this church planter through his journey as he prepares to launch and he experiences the new challenges of post-launch as well. Now, Perhaps your church planter is moving to another city. You don't have to be the one that walks with him through this conversation guide. You just need to make sure that he has a coach in his city or someone that's walking alongside him, and we'll ensure that he has that person as well. And we will provide that coaching guide so that they can have that monthly conversation and ongoing training through the process. Step number 8 is do it all again. You know, I've discovered that once a church gets involved in church planting, they get a hunger for it and they want to do it again. And that's our desire. You know, at Launch, we say we don't plant churches. Launch Network does not plant churches. Churches plant churches. And that's why we want to come alongside and help you plant more churches. So once you do it, we want you to identify another church planter, journey with us again through this whole process, and let's work together to change the kingdom through church planting.